What time are we going?
What?
What time are we going?
1 minute right now. Ready?
I am ready.
Here we go. Ready?
Ready.
You're on over there?
I'm on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I can hear your voice in that song so much.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm not a successful musician. So can I just tell you that that there is something that I have found to be totally true. I don't think we've talked about this, but who knows?
Okay.
These have been longer days. But something is totally true about little zillennials is that they all sound the same. The girls all sound the same and have this like total.
You already played the Gen Z demeanor thing yesterday.
All right, I'm done.
Is that what you were going to play?
It is, yeah. I'm sorry, it's been a long day.
Okay, just so you know. But yes, zillennials do have like awkward demeanor. Now there's this like.
Yeah, but it's awkward because it's self-assured. It's cocksure, if you will, and.
There's this like awkward singer too. That's like a nepo baby awkward singer. Have you seen this chick?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was real or a joke or like what's going on with her.
No, it's real. She was actually a songwriter for somebody else, Gracie Abrams or somebody beforehand.
Okay.
And she's been around, I guess, for like a year. Her album's been out for like a year, but she's okay,
I found her. Here she is.
Noella Langley, I'll say that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, so and of course I can't remember her name now at all. But anyway, she's Audrey Hobart, that's her name.
All right.
And like she did a Tiny Desk concert, one of those NPR live stripped things.
Okay. Is that what this is?
I don't know if that's what that is or
it doesn't
that's one
sound
of
like
her
there's
music
any effects
videos
on
or
her
something.
voice, certainly.
But
it's a group of people who seem like they're theater kids, but with no.
Her dad is a writer and television producer who worked on Scrubs and The Middle, so that's why she's getting called a nepo baby.
So rap's worse. I'm fine.
I mean, it's fine. This isn't for me, this music.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, go for it, zillennials. I don't know, but it's not written for me. It's not about me. I don't really get it. It's not my thing, but you know, so that's out there. Some people were saying she's trans. She's not trans. She's just not like wearing a lot of makeup or anything, which I think in the entertainment industry can like make you look trans sometimes, but she's not. She's just awkward and not like styled in a very feminine way and stuff. But anyway, not trans. I'm not into it, but you know, people like it, and she's been a singer-songwriter. She's been a songwriter for other people too and stuff. So like, I guess that's fine. But I don't know. Speaking of trans, I saw this like mind-blowing Reddit post that I sent to you. This boggled my mind, and this just shows like this is why I like to read things from liberal spaces, as it were, because the mental place that like our liberal friends are in is just so completely different from where I'm in that, you know, it's just good to like see what's out there. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So here's the post. This is in the subreddit cis parent trans kid. So this is a cis parent posting. They have a trans kid.
Okay.
Asking for advice. Sleepover for 14 and 15-year-olds. Hello. My male to female 14-year-old is invited to a sleepover. I don't know the parents personally, but my daughter's best friend's parents do, and the best friend sleeps over there regularly. My child has had sleepovers with girls before, but the parents know she is trans and are accepting. They knew before she transitioned too. My child said she would rather I don't say anything about her being trans to the parents, and I'm not sure what to do. Any advice? So what would you say if you were about to have your 15-year-old boy stealth sleepover at a girl's house that you didn't know?
I would say you got to tell them. You don't get to have my secret fake identity, which cloaks me. And no, you tell them. As a matter of fact, I think that it should be illegal for them not to tell them.
Well, the commenters on Reddit
do
not agree. There's no reason anyone should see your kid's genitals at a sleepover. Therefore, no reason to out her.
No, never. Not at a sleepover. Not teenagers. No.
Your daughter's a girl. These parents don't have a right to know the details about their medical history or genitals. It's not in any way disrespectful to not come out with them. One person says you should get them condoms just in case.
Great.
I mean, yeah. And then, I mean, these strangers don't need to know about your daughter's genitals. Blah, blah, blah. That's not really what it's about exactly. But if you've so moved away from, just regular average people that you can't possibly imagine what the issue is there or why anybody would need to know that, then you've, departed from the rest of us on rational planet Earth, don't you think?
Utterly, yeah. But, I mean, isn't that what we're seeing here? Is there's a divide now where there are people now in this country who just simply live in a delusion. They're on the holodeck. They are.
I mean, okay, yeah. But it is crazy. And, we've talked about this a little, and this gets at sort of, the Matt Walsh, what is a woman thing, and what's happening in the WNBA right now. There's a great Substack piece written by a guy who used to write for the John Oliver show when it was a little more skewering both sides-ish. But he writes about the issue that the WNBA having, what he's calling he's calling it the little shithead problem. And sorry, you have to edit me out, I guess, for this bit. But basically what he's saying essentially is, and what he said he asked when they were writing for, the John Oliver show years ago, was basically okay, but what do you do? This is what he wrote in 2015. He says, I termed it the little shithead problem. What if some asshole high school student, some maladjusted brat who's a walking argument for birth control, demands to use the girls' bathroom just to F with his school administrators? That's now the problem the WNBA faces. And he wrote a whole piece about this, how basically Inez Cantor and Royce White are just saying this to F with you. But the problem is you've set up a philosophy where you can't question that. And they have their own shitheads on the left who are doing this stuff just to F with people, but they didn't care as long as they were doing it to F with right-wing people.
Yes, absolutely.
Obviously, the Masterpiece Cake Shop person who went back multiple times to sue them, not just for the gay wedding cake, but also a trans coming out cake with Satan symbols and dildos on it. They're just effing with the guy who's a baker.
Of course.
And he had to take it to the Supreme Court because they're just effing with him. There's that lady, Jessica Yaniv in Canada, who has an entire grift business model where she goes to primarily immigrant-owned beauty salons and spas where they do waxing and demands to get a Brazilian bikini wax.
Right.
For her fully male genitals. And then when they are confused because they're some tiny Asian woman who's not familiar with this mind game,
right?
Then she sues them, right?
Well, but also, what about the wood teacher in Canada with the huge boobs?
Well, I think we decided that was a conservative troll. but
I
still.
don't know what it is, but they have to let that person do the thing.
Yeah, there's people who are trolling, and the problem that the left has set up for themselves is that they've set up a system in which they have no way to differentiate between who's trolling and who's serious.
Well, right.
On either side, politically. So they were fine with that when that meant there were like left-wing people who were just trolling, and they were like, nope, you have to treat them like they're serious. Like they're letting sex offenders into locker rooms because they have, it's a really big problem in jails because the perception among prisoners is that women's jail is a lot nicer to be in if you're a guy than men's jail is.
It's not just prisoners who think about this.
Everyone has that perception?
Yes, that's the move immediately.
So, and it's a really big problem where they've had people transition to get into women's prison, and then they get out of prison and they decide they're going to untransition.
Well, you go into prison and then you either sexually assault or just impregnate, knock up all the women, and then you're... Well,
but they have a problem. They have no immunity, no like inoculation against this. They have no logic that can tell them when somebody's being serious and when they're not, because they have absolutely no way to differentiate people who are actually trans and people who just randomly decide one day to say that they're trans. And we've actually been told by the activist class on the left for years now that...
Remember, you're in charge of the chat.
That it's wrong to even question people who just claim to be trans, and that there's no like gatekeeping trans by how much surgery you want or anything else.
Yeah, but remember, it's not simply the activist class who's in your face with purple hair and nose rings and gauges. Mm-hmm. It is the activist class in lab coats. So now the scientists, the people, the bearers, the custodians of the science and the truth have ceded over that to every individual. So they've used their status as the science, as scientists, and I include doctors in this. They've used that to castrate themselves. They've used that to rid themselves of any elevated decision making, because they said, "Hey, by the way, the new science is it's his truth too." Mm-hmm. So his truth is as good as anything we can do with a microscope, if not better. So now, if my truth is whatever I want it to be, well, then now we're all stuck with a science problem. And the left did that. It's not just a catch-22, aha. It is that, and it's delicious that it's that. But now they've got them stuff caught in a science problem.
Well, right, and I think what's going to be interesting to see what happens with the WNBA thing is basically... So I think obviously nobody's going to draft these people in the current WNBA, but I mean,
either way, it's a win-win.
I don't know. It's a win-win. They're not going to draft them because they don't want to be caught in the ideological mess. But obviously drafting any one of these people would be a huge advantage for whatever team decides to do it. So all it's going to take, I don't think WNBA teams are that expensive.
No.
Like you're going to have an Elon Musk or somebody buy a WNBA team and draft some of these. You could have an all-men WNBA team at this point.
Sure.
As long as they just say, I'm a woman. Like, you're just saying the magic words. The WNBA does say in their rules you have to be a woman, but they provide no definition of what that means. And what the left has locked themselves into is literally anyone who says they're a woman is a woman. And if you ask any more questions after that, as Matt Walsh demonstrated, the answer is, why do you need to know? Why do you care about what my kids do? Why would you need to see my kids' genitals at a sleepover anyway? What are you, some sick pervert? Why do you care so much? That's like the reaction. So it's like, okay, so why do you care so much about Inez Cantor and whether or not he's a woman? Well, he says he is. Why isn't that enough?
Well, and also that puts you once again making the medical community, the science people, you put them in a position of having to destroy their own authority because they're saying, well, no, Inez Cantor is not really a woman because his state of mind is not reliable because he's obviously he's tampering here and being an arsonist. He's tampering with everything. So then you'd have to say for the medical, emotional, in science people, okay, then can we do an audit of all the states of mind of all the trans people, including the one yelling in the video store with a full beard?
Yeah, so you automatically end up at the question like, oh, okay, so there can actually be fake trans people.
Right.
Which gets at this is the shithead problem, right? Like, there can be people who are not really trans. There are people who can say that they're trans that aren't. People can lie. And so we were told that was never a problem and wasn't a possible thing. So once you open that up and you say, okay, well, there can be people who can lie about being trans, like now you are opening that. Now you have to be able to present some kind of framework to be able to tell who's lying from who's not. Because up to today, they have not presented anybody with any kind of framework that allows you to differentiate one from the other reliably. Except I kind of feel like this person's not truly trans.
Right. But it also gives you like a Luigi Mangione problem. Mm-hmm. Because, okay, fine. Luigi Mangione admitted that he shot the guy dead, but he was doing something heroic because he felt so victimized by whatever. So, okay, Inez Cantor is messing around. That's fine. He doesn't really mean it like this. This is all a bull. But if we're seeing people, if we're really seeing Luigi Mangione, then don't we have to see Inez Cantor? And what are his grievances? What's his pain? What's his trauma that's making him want to do this? You know? Not everybody's just a jokester and a prankster, you know, what's making him do this? And even if it is something that they would consider malevolent or whatever, well, that's an ailment too. That's a state of mind too.
But everybody has now put themselves so deep into multiple layers of disingenuousness that it's impossible to tell what anybody really thinks about anything anymore. Did you see that the Boston Globe endorsed Seth Moulton?
Yeah.
So that was interesting, but I've seen people posting on Twitter like about how he shouldn't be excused for his really dangerous anti-trans rhetoric, which there is not a freaking thing that will come up in the Senate that Ed Markey would vote for trans people that Seth Moulton wouldn't. There's literally zero daylight between them on any LGBTQIA plus policy ever. Right? Like, can you imagine, is there anything that you would think Seth Moulton is going to actually be to the right of Ed Markey on?
No.
Like, the only difference is he was, like, momentarily honest for a day one time, and everybody yelled at him, and now he's shut up about it, and he's never going to say it again. He's definitely not going to vote for it.
Well, right.
Like, there's no daylight between them. They're fundamentally going to vote the same on every single thing.
Well, right. Except for Moulton has done a very public struggle session and offered up his daughters for sacrifice, which the Globe appreciates, because he said, I think my daughter should be protected. And then he came out and said, I don't think my daughter should be protected. I'm sorry I said that. Okay, then he gets the vote. Cheswick says, excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am. Yeah. That thing, we're all around here pretending.
Yeah, so I'm in it. I see it.
Okay.
I have the chat. But so that's crazy, but they're so disingenuous in so many ways. Have you followed this Alaska thing with the Alaska primary?
I don't think so.
Okay, so basically, they have the Alaska primary. There's this guy, I want to say his middle initials S, Daniel S. Sullivan. He's the incumbent Alaska senator. Okay.
Okay.
And a Democrat named Peltola, I think Mary Peltola, is running against him. Now, the way the Alaska Senate works is it's a like a jungle primary, basically, and the top 4 advance to the main election. Okay. And what the Democrats have done is they recruited this guy who was an independent. He worked with Democrat consultants, registered as a Republican, and he has the same name except for the middle initial as the incumbent Republican senator.
Ooh.
He's Daniel J. Sullivan, R next to his name.
Oh, that's vicious.
So it's unclear at this point. They had their primary yesterday. It's unclear at this point if he's going to advance, but it's looking like he probably will. He got like 2.5%. And actually, initially, when he first filed to run, he filed not with his real middle name. He filed with the actual senator's middle name. It's purely just a play to try and screw him out of enough of the vote to hopefully. And they also have ranked choice voting. Of course. So they just want to screw it up enough, and ranked choice voting is so confusing anyway, and they know this, that, like, and I mean, I get it, believe me, people always are about, you know, the ranked choice voting is actually so much smarter, and da-da-da. The problem is, a lot of people, like, don't get how to use it. Tons of people don't fill out the rest of the choices. it doesn't work the way you want it to work. People don't do it. They don't get it. They don't want to do it. And it's not transparent and it's problematic. So, but this guy who's a teacher who has the same name as the incumbent senator, they tried to sue to get him off the ballot because he's purely just going in there as a spoiler.
Of course.
And the court kept him on because he's like, no, I'm just a teacher and I just decided to, I've always been right-leaning and as an independent and I just, don't want us to be the MAGA party. So I'm like going to present an alternative to the voters. Like, that's not what, it's so transparently bad, but like they convince themselves that this stuff is like a serious thing. And they're just purely, talk about the little shithead problem.
Yes.
Like, you're just purely doing this to cause trouble. But they convince themselves they're doing something noble and good. And that when Republicans do something trolly and to cause trouble, that's bad and like we need a way to stop them. But like when we do it, it's actually noble and good.
Well, right. But this is, of course, why are they're obscuring and in bending and twisting and they're toxifying this election in the name of what?
Saving democracy?
Exactly.
Yeah. Saving democracy by putting a spoiler
okay.
identical name candidate on the ballot.
Exactly. Where the people, you may well think they're voting for somebody else. No, we had to do it. We had to because this is...
And the New York Times is reporting that like a longtime Democratic consultant, when you look at the metadata from his filing, it's a Democrat consultant who filed all his paperwork and stuff. So, of course, it's a spoiler. Of course. Did the court bother to find that out when they left him on the ballot? No.
No. Why would they?
Because they just treat this stuff like it's, it's genuine, serious, that the school teacher just coincidentally really wanted to run for Senate this year.
Can I just give a bit of good news as far as these communists go?
Yes.
I'm all in for Angie Nixon.
And what that looks like is passing common sense legislation like Medicare for all. Healthcare is a right. We should not be allowing people to deny life-saving medical procedures or medicine because it's hurting someone's bottom line, right? We need to make sure that we're passing things like universal child care.
Okay. She obviously, in a real world, would be in a brig somewhere, and wherever that part of Florida should be neutral, obviously. But
this is for Senate. For Florida.
Here's the thing. She beat Alex Vindman, who's the biggest piece of feces.
He spent $16 million resistance dollars.
He is such a piece of crap, and his twin brother is a piece. I hate their heads. I hate the way they look.
And his wife is crazy too.
I hate the way they talk. I hate everything about them. So you know what? Left, go ahead.
So yeah, Alex Vindman. I didn't even remember that he was running for Senate. To be honest, were you thinking about him at all?
I didn't think about him at all, but I knew he was. I knew one of them was running for something. The Kellys and the Vindmans. Never get me this.
Anyway, so it is funny though, because he raised in $16 million from Blue Anon resistance lib wine moms, Project Lincoln enthusiasts and that type of people, because he was part of the Trump impeachment. So he's part of the resistance soap opera. And so they fed him and his consultants all this money. And he didn't even take this lady, Angie Nixon, who's a DSA socialist lady, seriously. He was apparently privately laughing about her, that she wasn't even a real opponent, and he basically didn't have a primary. And he lost to her by 10 points.
This is her in a pink jumpsuit interrupting the Florida Senate.
I will not allow you to destroy our democracy. That is a violation of the Constitution. It is. It's a violation of the Constitution. I'm out of order because y'all are doing illegal things to the state of Georgia. It is out of order. It is out of order. It is out of
Here's your guy.
So now all the pollsters have moved Florida from likely red into safe red territory. So congratulations, Alex Vindman, on that one. That's great. Yeah, and did we determine what's happening with the the governor primary in Florida. Is it Byron Donalds? Is that?
He's running.
What we've got.
Yeah.
But they had their primary, I think.
Did they?
Yesterday.
Is that, oh, really?
That's where this was, all the Vimmen stuff. Let's see. Will it tell me if Byron Donalds and David Jolly to face off in Florida as governor's race after primary wins. So yeah, Byron Donalds and David Jolly. That's your, yeah, he got 47.8%. And that guy, actually, James Fishback came in third, which is maybe better than I thought he was going to do. He was this, like, he had been on Tucker and stuff. He's a very anti-Israel, right-wing, somewhat crypto space, but very, like, grifty, sketchy. He's had some problems with some underage ladies that have haunted him. And
I love Byron Donalds. I love him all day.
Scams. Yeah, I like Byron Donalds. He's good. I hope he's Florida's next governor.
By the way, can I or you want to stay with the elections, or can I veer here?
You can veer.
So at the Main Wire today, in the Main Wire TV, we talked about Susan Collins, of all people, brought home a whole bunch of federal pork money to Maine, and they're building housing for the homeless using laser printers.
Okay.
And
like
it's
3D printing houses?
3D printing houses, exactly. Okay. And so it's using this technology from this brand, whatever. You can tell, you can feel the pitch, you know, and of course it's federal money, so I'm sure that there are tax breaks for everybody involved, and it feels like it's a good pitch, and it's going to be very popular for progressives in Maine. You're going to love this because this is new homes 2.0, 4.0. By the way, of course, these 6,600 square foot homes, Alice, are being built for the expense of a huge Victorian that's really pretty. Mm-hmm. But we're using the data centers. So what I'm saying is, actually, I stepped on my own line. It's like funny. These people who love the idea of this have no idea or concern that data centers are probably involved in a lot of this 3D printing.
Of course. Data centers are involved in everything. And it's interesting. So there was just a big study. Congratulations to everybody. Data centers are now less popular to have in your town than nuclear power plants. And that's not because nuclear power plants, unfortunately, have gotten more popular, because they should be popular because they're like a great way to get energy, whatever. But so they just did a big study. And basically, if you ask the question differently, so nuclear power plants, 57% oppose a nuclear power plant being built near them. A data center to power AI is 62% opposed near them. A data center to power digital services like search, video streaming, etc. is 53% opposed. So still, the majority of people don't want it near them, even if it like powers everything and makes their life better. And like the people that have the data centers near them are like very pro data center. There was actually a funny Twitter post recently, because I think it was David Hogg, actually, who he's the most consistently wrong person on Twitter that I've ever seen. Like, I've never seen a person so successfully be wrong all the time. But he had a big post where he was like, if data centers are so great, why don't we build them in the rich neighborhoods? And of course, whatever it's called, like Data Center Alley or whatever they call the area that's like the most data center heavy spot in the country, is Loudoun County, which is like rich Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's like one of the wealthiest areas in the country. So they're almost unequivocally good. Like, maybe you don't want it to be like literally next door to you because of noise or something. Like any factory, you wouldn't want to be industrial, but like, you know, you could build it anywhere you build any other industrial
data centers
stuff.
Everywhere right now.
Yeah,
there are huge Amazon warehouses. Like, you people,
that was
all
funny
like
because Amazon distribution center is only 24% opposed to it.
Of course,
being near them.
Of course.
Traditional manufacturing, like an automobile factory, only 24% opposed. So you would live next to a car factory,
right? A plant,
which is like way noisier and more polluting than a freaking data center. It's nuts. A solar farm, a wind farm, obviously. Those
and these
are
things about like how it messes with the groundwater and does this, like any construction is going to mess with everything. It's just like,
any factory.
And at the same time,
old orchards are like full of arsenic and lead and stuff. Like it's
the river that you're afraid will be polluted is full of dye and bleach from the last 150 years. But here's another thing: is that like the way to salvation is data centers. And these data centers, many of them will have embedded nuclear power.
Well, I don't know about embedded, but yeah, like nuclear power is going to be a great way to power data centers because
of course.
We're going to have massive energy infrastructure needs over the next few years. But I mean,
people don't know nuclear power. Nuclear power is hydroelectric.
It's like clean and great power.
Yeah, that's all it is. But people don't know because they've seen 3 Mile Island and the thing in Kiev and Fukushima, which
they're just picturing like the empty swing set in a gray movie set. But yeah, they're like almost perfectly good. Like there's almost nothing bad to say about them.
It is so interesting how that works. Like all it takes is the freaking or the orca movie, and like the sea world can't have any more fish now. It's like that's all it took. All it takes is that lying piece of crap to make the movie Super Size Me, and like it really hit McDonald's. McDonald's is fine. It doesn't like shut up. And all it takes is like this apocryphal narrative about nuclear power being so terrible. And if we had 50 times,
but China's like high-fiving right now,
of course,
as like Americans are like no data centers.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so we'll just buy it from the Chinese, and that makes us more moral.
Yeah. Splash is in the chat asking the important questions. He wants to know if you'll get a hall pass for Sophie Cunningham. Sure.
Yes, obviously I will. Obviously, my goodness.
She's your Bill Malugin.
I'll take that. Yeah, okay. She is ridiculous.
But yeah, like the data center thing is crazy to me, and like people's perception of them is like just ridiculous.
Should we do the chat, Alice? I know some might seem a little bit early, but
I just wanted to really quick talk about the UC Berkeley thing. Because it's like nuts to me. I'll re-up sending you this video that's here. Basically, you know, the University of California system, like a lot of universities during COVID, got rid of the SAT as a requirement. And most of the schools now have brought it back. Like the Ivies have brought it back, and MIT, and everybody mostly have gone back to using the SAT to evaluate applicants. But the University of California system has not. And UC Berkeley is having huge problems where a lot of people are being accepted into STEM majors like engineering and math.
Which is great.
And aren't able to do even like middle school math.
Isn't it funny though, by the way, that the left is always like, it's because of misinformation and disinformation that people don't trust our institutions anymore. Okay.
And so now the STEM departments, in particular the math departments, like UC Berkeley has a really prestigious math department. And like they're begging the school to put it back in, and the school is punting. They're saying they'll like reevaluate and think about it again in 2027, which means like the 2028 school year is the first year that would even be possible for them to have students that took the SATs again. And like they're having to bring in students into calculus who like can't do basic fractions and algebra and stuff. It's like really concerning. Anyway, here's one of the teachers who wrote a big op-ed about it and is complaining about it.
In spring 2023, I'm teaching Calculus 2. So that's second semester calculus course at Berkeley. I had something between 12 and 1,400 students in 2 classes. So a huge number of students. And for the first time, I noticed that about a third of them were disengaged with the class after week 2. They would not come to lecture. There would be missed quiz here, not submitted homework there. The first midterm was a disaster. I had never seen anything like this before. And don't get me wrong, we have still fantastic students at the higher end. But the lower end was so far behind, so many standard deviations behind, their classmates. So I, on the fly, actually had to redesign the syllabus to make it easier, more accessible. I introduced bonus points. I introduced polls in class just for participation. Come and answer these 2 multiple choice questions on your phone, and we will give you some credit. And even then, This bottom third did not come to class. I had to revise my grade cutoffs. I lowered them down in order to help students pass the class. And belatedly now, in retrospect, I find that this was a wrong decision. I should
not have done it. In other words, because she's made the world a worse place. But, this is a teacher who cares.
Yeah, and the teachers are upset about it. That's why they're writing these op-eds and coming out and saying this stuff, because they're unable to teach the classes they normally teach. And like they've been saying, they don't have a problem at the higher end of the class. Like they still have the successful students, but what they've described is that basically the middle has fallen out of the class. Mm-hmm. So when they have like a calculus preparedness test, like a placement test that they give at the beginning of the year to the students who want to take calculus to make sure they're ready to take calculus. Now the highest single most common score on it is a 0. A 0. This is a multiple choice test. These are students that are coming in that have great high school grades because the grade inflation is rampant. They're all passing high school and getting good grades. And they're coming into college saying, I'm ready for calculus. And like the question that was described in the article that I read was it's a multiple choice question with 4 options where it's solve for x, where x squared is greater than 4.
Did I get this today?
No, you did not.
I did not get
this. But it's x is greater than 2 or less than minus 2 is the correct answer. And so, but it's a multiple choice with 4 choices and less than half the students are getting it correct.
In my high school and junior high career of not getting that, do you know what my grade was?
F.
Correct.
Okay.
It was
now the students don't get that.
It was exactly what it should have been.
They get A's for that, and they go in thinking that they're going to be an electrical engineering major, and they go sign up for their calculus class that's required for their engineering classes, and they don't know basic math that they should have learned in 5th or 6th grade.
Right. And of course, the best thing that they won't be an electrical engineering major, but they could probably learn to do maintenance at a data center, but the California photos won't let them build one. So, okay. So should we go to the chat?
Yes, now we can go to the chat.
Hey guys, Andy in Cambridge,
Hey, Andy.
5 minutes east of the Phoenix Landing. Tom,
yes.
Your boat launch story with the obese woman and the paddleboard, you left out one very important detail. Was she in a 1-piece or a 2-piece swimsuit? Cheers, 18 seconds.
Oh, that's, She was in kind of a workout gear, like a, what's it called? Neoprene? What's the thing you wear?
Like a yoga top and yoga pants kind of deal?
No, she was in a 1-piece thing that's, so you don't get cold, whatever it's called, a wetsuit. I don't know. By the way, I don't think that she was, that was not the issue. The issue was just because we have broken the world. That's the problem.
Hey, Billy from Manchester. Hey, Captain.
Yes.
I don't want to be the guy at the boat dock criticizing everything, but could you put first of all, Alice and Trump are discussing on 2 shows. I've been waiting to hear about what Trump had to say, but your explanation of the show has Alice and Trump are discussing blah, blah, blah for the past 2 shows, and your website is not linked to it, you idiot. So
really?
I'm 100% with the boat guy. You're a buffoon.
Does it say Alice and Trump? Damn, let me look at the description so far. Alice and Trump. Jesus, it does say that. Oh, God.
You just paste in a lot of things.
Yeah, but I pasted in from what I've written, Alice.
Okay.
I don't, There's a nice one that's mailing it in. It's tonight's. Alice and Tom discuss this weird world. There you go. Is it exactly?
Is that what it's called?
No.
I feel like I brought some stuff to this show. You asked me to.
You can go and change the description after.
Okay. That's my reward for being helpful. Okay.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
27 minutes.
Yes.
Tom. 27 minutes of valuable broadcast time wasted on the freaking boat launch story.
No. Steve,
oh my God. I got news for you, pal.
What?
You ain't Garrison Keillor. Okay? This
Alice, do you know who Garrison Keillor is?
I feel like, isn't he like a comedian?
Well,
he's an actor.
I mean, he probably would consider himself a comedian, and Boomers would probably consider himself a comedian. He's the author of Lake Wobegon Days and of the Lake Wobegon Days theater show. So there you go. And he'd do things like, Ben Burt was there whittling as he always was every Thursday night.
Yeah, he's who I thought he was.
And he would be for every Thursday night.
He's a humorist. That's
he's
probably
a humorist.
better.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
He's a bow tie.
Prairie Home Companion. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't Lake Wobegon. 20.
This is Caspian Lake.
7 minutes on.
There were two parts of it, Steve. One was the fact that this a-hole needed to mind his own business. The second part of it is that you can't have people be freaking sheep because we can't have a society like that, especially you don't even have to have wanderlust to want to get your stupid paddleboard thing in the water. You just have to get it in the water. God.
That incredibly shitty story.
How dare he?
And it was actually two mediocre stories tied together. And let me just tell you something, kid.
This guy likes the happy Mondays, okay? 1
+ 1 did not equal 2.
Incorrect.
I couldn't even believe it. I was actually driving home very late from Portland, Maine to my home in New Hampshire. So it was like 11 o'clock.
By the way, that's home number 4.
I don't know.
4 homes.
Know that's true.
Correct.
At night, and I'm listening to this thing. And I'm so steamed, and I'm like, this is the worst effing broadcast I've ever heard.
Incorrect.
So I gave it a second chance this morning when I was in a better mood.
Yeah.
Not much better.
No,
and it's totally ridiculous because at one point, I look at the podcast, the remaining time, it says 25 minutes left. So more than half the podcast was on this crap.
It was an important story.
God. Oh, please, make it stop. Thank you.
Steve, it is an important symbol story. Sometimes something happens in the woods or something happens. Isaac Newton, you realize, Alice, that he was sitting having a drink of water and an apple fell on his head? That was his moment. It was a moment of clarity, Steve, and it was the imagery of it was clarifying just to see where we are now as a society and a culture. You're a Harvard guy. You should know. You should grasp this. Alice, thoughts about the boat launch episode?
I mean, your stories can be longish.
Incorrect.
But, I mean, I like them.
Yes, correct.
Hey, Tom and Alice. Hey, Tom, you were talking about that woman that was trying to put her paddleboard in at the boat ramp.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Charlie. Thank you. This is the third message about how good that was, Alice.
I will tell you that I have a friend who was on her paddleboard. There's a little channel at one of the beaches up here that where people come in and pick up their friends on their motorboats and go back off and go over Plum Island. Instead of going through the channel, she stayed out of the channel and went over, to one side or the other. There was a cop there, started reading her the riot act about how she was in the swim zone with a boat. He should write her up or give her a ticket.
Oh,
You're not supposed to have a boat in there. How come she doesn't have a throwable, basically a flotation device in case she finds somebody in the water? She was supposed to have that.
Oh.
And a signaling device, like one of those little orange rape whistles that you can whistle into in case you're in trouble.
Oh.
He gave her such a hard time. I think she actually ended up getting rid of it. So just to let you know, something like that would make me say, you know what? I'm going to bust everybody else's Aggies and do the right thing because I don't feel like listening to them. Thanks.
Oh, that is terrible. That guy should be executed, obviously, Charlie. That is different. Different.
The car is Jimmy's. The boat is Jimmy's. You got your son doing a job that you should be doing.
Uh-huh.
You got Alice doing many tasks around the house that you should be doing. You've got your, well, no longer, but you had that summer school EBT free meal card.
Yep.
And there's no doubt in my mind, we Patreon subscribers are paying the mortgage for that second home in Vermont.
That is correct.
We may as well just call you Bernie Sanders because for somebody who purports to hate socialists, you certainly are living like one. Oh, boy.
Incorrect, although he does have a place down the street.
Yes, you're a socialist. Oh, I still didn't get to talk about the New York City DSA guy. We'll talk about him tomorrow.
Okay.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Another thing about yesterday's podcast.
Yes.
I know you're on vacation, but would you at least please try and hydrate before you go on the air?
What do you mean?
All I could hear were your freaking lips smacking through that incredibly tedious first 27 minutes.
Oh, no.
Listen, every other sip, of the banana-flavored Happy Jazz, you queen, have a Poland Spring, okay? Oh, you had
I will
dry
have
mouth
you
and it
know.
just worsened everything.
Incorrect.
He's drinking Twisted Tea original.
And I've bought water here, too.
Twisted Tea original.
This is the Go bag. So this equipment. It's the same equipment. It's you need to listen one more time to Boat Launch, Steve, and benefit from it. It was a wonderful, a life-changing marinade of both wisdom and guidance. That's what needs to happen. Alice, agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. I think by tomorrow's show, we may be back in Massachusetts.
You gotta be.
So that's exciting. Back in studio for all that stuff. We have enough content for another food show, too. I went to the Skinny Pancake in Montpelier today.
Nice. Cha-ching.
Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.
C'est la vie.
Five.